Hey besties, time for some more advent spinning. So this will be, I've lost track of the days. Let me check. Day 9. All right, let me grab my book. Ooh. All right, day 9. We're on day 14 because that was from the last spin. Oh, this is the one I can't pronounce. Necht Ruprecht. I have no idea. So let's find out. Look at the cute little packaging. I have to show everyone because they're so adorable. All right, so here's our fiber. And it is got sparkles and shine. And it's pretty. I'm just trying to... there we go. Okay, so let's read up on Necht Ruprecht. I don't know. I'm a Valley girl. I can't do accents. So here we go. Those who know German folklore may be familiar with Necht Ruprecht as a companion of Saint Nicholas, though he is depicted rather differently. While Saint Nicholas appears in more grandiose dress, I'm just going to call him KR. KR is often described as wearing brown or drab shades without much adornment, though he may occasionally have some bells. Let me get this from the end. There we go. As would be befitting of the attire of a servant, and sometimes walking with a limp. If children are good, then they are rewarded with sweets from him, but if they are bad, they are beaten with a bag of ash which he carries, or are given coal. German folklore is so rough. So rough. So, for this blend, the base is alpaca, blue-faced Leicester, and Polworth. They've been selected for their handle and their bounce. Then they added a bit of merino to help lift the shade, along with some Tessa silk, because why not, of course, and flax. Flax was chosen because KR has been described in some writings as wearing a flax wig. Finally, to add a bit of sparkle, we used glitzy moss, another muted tone of merino with a light sparkle to it, as a reminder that not all nice things are brightly colored. So it's a very pretty little muted blend with some little bits of color, little strippies of color. Now, I had kind of looked ahead, and day 10 caught my eye. I was like, I wonder if they would go together. So day 10, have a look at the bag first. Very pretty. Is this one. And it's like reds and some muted grays and blacks. And I had wondered how they would go together. And I think that this gray kind of matches up with that gray. So I think, again, we're going to do half of it, 2 singles, blend them together, and then we'll do the other half just straight spin chain plied, so we can see the difference in the colors. I'm really enjoying doing that. It's really tickling my brain quite nicely. So let's have a look at day 10, which is called Kevin. Going to assume Home Alone. I haven't actually looked, but here it is. It might amuse you to know that every time this blend is mentioned at WOW headquarters, the name is shouted. If we had any employees called Kevin, they'd be sick of us by now. This family favorite is always high on the watch list at Christmas, and we certainly couldn't miss it from this year's Advent. If you haven't seen Home Alone, then it is our professional woolly opinion that you need to. Everyone has felt the panic of Kate McAllister when they realize something vitally important is missing, and everyone has had the same childhood fear of the thing that lives in the basement as Kevin. We decided to recreate Kevin's jumper using only British wool to make a blend to keep the winter chill at bay. Shetland Loganberry gives us our bright red base color. We were careful not to select something too bright. That's true, as we wanted all of the colors used to work together rather than jump out. Gray Cheviot cools the tone down and works well with the Blueface Leicester Raven to mimic the marl effect of the original garment. Although this blend isn't merino soft, Shetland and BFL are some of the softest fibers found in the UK, and they certainly make for a very snug garment. So, we are going to spin these two today. So the first thing we need to do is split for our two samples. So we'll get our Kevin opened up here. As you can see, nice and loose, not compacted. Just give it a little pull, pop it in two. So this will be for the singles that we're going to chain ply. And this will be for our singles that we're going to ply with the singles of this. Can you hear Latte yelling? He wants to go outside into his catio. He's like, it's daytime. Barely daytime. The sun is barely up. Bob was over here eating his cardboard box. He loves to eat cardboard and just spit it out. All right, there we go. So we'll put this one aside. He's fine. Don't believe his drama. And then these are the colors that we're going to apply into a yarn. This one might be a little too green to blend, like to go perfectly, but I think it's going to look all right in a 2-ply. So let's get spinning. We got our singles spun, and I decided rather than just doing a boring straight spin, I'm going to start off with the leader of the 2-ply, and then I'm going to make little baubles with the yarns, and I'm going to alternate colors. So come over here a little bit, and I'm just going to do one of these. And then go back to a 2-ply, and then do one of these, and then go back to a 2-ply. Now I'm going to try making little cocoons and see how they look. And then push that up and switch colors to lock it in, and a 2-ply. Then we're going to lock it, and then make a little cocoon, and then go again. No, I think the nups are better. Sorry, I think the nups are better. So I'm just going to do this. Try to keep them a little smaller than I usually do. I usually just get way out of hand. All right, just the length of my fingertip. There we go. And now I do brown, just the length of my fingertip, okay? And then we're going to go down to the red. 1, and then we do the red. And then we'll go back to 1, 2, and an up, and then 1, 2. And we'll do the red again. So we end up with like these little beads of color in the 2-ply. All right, I'm going to finish spinning this up and then I'll get on to the next one. So I had another idea, and what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to spin this thick and thin and then chain ply it. I don't think I've ever done that, but I think it'll be fun to try, and we'll see how it turns out in the end yarn. Who knows, it may be a shit show, but we're going to find out. Let's get spinning. And we're done. I am actually pretty pleased with how everything came out. So let's have a look at our first skein. What did I do here? Oof, I made a mess. Everything is very, very active twist because I literally just spun it and then plied it without letting it rest, which makes it very, very active. All right, so here is a single of each color plied together with the little nups for like a beaded texture kind of thing on it. And I did have a little bit of the one color left over, so I just chain plied that. There, you can see some gray and red nups there. And I actually really like the way it looks. Plying it with that red really pulled the gray out. And I do like the color. See it from way back here. And I think those neps are gonna, or nups, or however you want to say it, are gonna look really good in the weaving. So then I went on with the spinning the singles. I was just going to ply them, or chain ply them, and decided to do a thick and thin and chain ply, which is not something I think I've ever tried before. And I'm actually, again, very over twisted. I'm actually pretty happy with how it turned out. It gives it a real textural quality, and you get some big puffy bits and some not so puffy bits. And I think it's going to look really cool in the weaving. And while this is like, well, look at this one. It's a very puffy slub, but it's an also very solid slub. So it gets to be both fluffy and solid. So I liked it so much on the red that I did it again with the brown. Now, this one seemed to have an overall different staple length. So the slubs ended up different sizes and lengths, and I tried to keep them smaller. But I really like the look of this. So basically I just did a thick and thin and then chain plied it. And I just think it came out very pretty, very textured, but very pretty. Oh, I'm trying not to show you how awful my hands are right now. I'm having a very bad psoriasis outbreak, so my hands are even more of a mess than usual. But you can see how that looks. So I think that was really fun. I quite enjoyed the results, and it was an experiment with something I haven't done before. So let me just get all our yarns out here. So this was days 9 and 10. So there's all our results for 9 and 10. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks once again for joining me. Make sure you're following if you want to see the rest of this advent calendar spun up. And even more so if you want to see when we work it all into a weaving. That'll be our January project. And I think it's going to be fun. So I shall see you for the next days, the next advent spin. See you later, guys. Bye.